Welcome back YouTube. Today we'll be coaching a Gold 3 Azir player. With this coaching lesson, we'll go over why you should play ranked, runes and builds. We'll also go over how to beat your laner, how to abuse them, and what to do when your laner roams, how to avoid deaths in the mid game, and how to properly pressure the map. So if you struggle with not knowing what to do when your laner roams, then this video is going to be perfect for you. If you are new here, my name is LittleBoyOfHope. I was able to reach Diamond 4 in the preseason of 10, have been coaching League part-time for a couple of years, and I create beginner-friendly League of Legends content here on YouTube. Subscribe right now and turn on the notifications if you're looking for more beginner League of Legends content to help you get to your next level. Why you should play ranked. When you play ranked, you get matched up with players that are your skill levels, like the same skill level as you, right? If you're Iron player, you get matched with another Iron player. You're learning with people that are the same level as you, and so you learn how to carry games. It's like slowly learn how to carry games because nobody is better than you. Everyone's at an equal skill level, right? And you learn how to snowball games as well. You learn how to position team fights, how to not get caught out by enemy abilities. You learn how to CS properly. You learn how to trade properly. Just overall, you just learn everything about the game a lot easier because people are your same skill level, right? I don't know if you noticed this or not because you didn't bring it up to me, but I'm just gonna open this tab really quickly, and this will be like one of the main reasons why you should play ranked. If you scroll all the way back up here, we see that we're silver 4, silver, gold, silver, gold, right? Gold 3. So when I open this up, we're gonna see why we want to play ranked. You guys had absolutely zero chance of winning this game. And the main reason why I say that is because you see here we have a diamond 4 Cho'Gath in the top lane versus a gold 2 Renekton. And looking at the gameplay, Cho'Gath stomped on Renekton really hard. And then we have a platinum 3 Twitch ADC versus a bronze 1 ADC, right? So it's not that your bot laners were bad. I mean, it is that, but it's also not that, like, it's not that they're bad. It's just that the Twitch was higher ranked, right? And what does higher ranked mean? Like, yes, we're both people and we both play the same game, but they're both players and they both play the same game, but the biggest difference is that Twitch has put his time into learning the game, so has Cho'Gath, right? Whereas Misfortune is a for fun player and just follows builds and, you know, doesn't really invest that much time into the game, right? So you come here for coaching and you want to learn how to get better and how to carry with Azir and how to climb out of gold, right? So step 1 on how to climb out of gold is to just start playing ranked. And also when you play normals, you get games like these against diamond players, plat players, you know. It's just not possible for you to win these because you don't know how to position in the mid game. You don't know how to carry with your champion, right? There's just a lot of aspects that you don't know that these players know. Right, like Twitch knows how to play his champion, Cho'Gath knows how to play his champion, they know their champion identity, and they know what they need to do to win the game and to close out the game. Right, and we know Azir as well. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying it's harder because these players know better because it's a normal game, so you get queued with anybody, right? And some games you get queued with iron players, some games you get queued with diamond players, and that's just how the game works in general, right? But when you play ranked, you play with people that are your same skill level, and then you get the chance to learn how to carry so that you don't get smurfed on 14-2 plat 3 Twitches or diamond 4 top laner Cho'Gaths, right? So that's the main thing. Number 1 is that's why you should play ranked. Now let's run into runes and builds. First thing I want to cover with runes and builds is if you're playing Azir, Arcane Comet works perfectly, but you could try Electrocute as well. So Arcane Comet, I like it in the fact that it makes your laning phase stronger, which is what we did perfectly this game. We played a really strong laning phase, and then Sylas just decided to perma roam because he couldn't face you. So that was really nice. But because Sylas roamed, in the mid game, your Arcane Comet becomes completely useless. Right? It's like a little poke damage, but it's not much. It's like a little scorch, you know? It's like a little scorch. It deals a little bit of damage, but not as much. And so Arcane Comet is fine, but for these games, I would recommend, like, if you want to play poke style, I would try Electrocute out as well. Just give yourself a little bit of variety because Electrocute is kind of like, going like Conquer versus PTA in an ADC matchup, right? So You go PTA, that's for the laning phase. If you go Conquer, that's more for like overall the general game, right? So I would say Electrocute. You go Ludens into Seraph's Embrace, but you just need to build your Seraph's Embrace a lot sooner. So you start Doran's Ring, and then you go for Luden's Tempest, but you don't get your tier until 17 minutes into the game. And by the time 29 minutes finishes, your tier is not even fully stacked yet. So your Archangel Staff doesn't even like evolve, right? So that's the biggest thing, is if you want to go for the Archangel Staff, just buy the tier on like either your first back or just start with tier, right? I don't recommend tier start, but if this is the build you want to go with, starting tier is going to help with just being able to stack it up sooner, and by the time you hit 20 minutes into the game, you actually have that that item fully built and evolved. Then also you go for the Nash's Tooth next. I would recommend third item to either go for Void Staff if they are building MR. If they're not building MR, I would opt to go for Rabadons, and then probably Lethal Tempo as a rune to help you deal more DPS, or Halo Blades or Electrocute. Any of these runes work, but the main thing about this build right now is you're running something like Arcane Comet. You probably have mana, you probably have Transcendence or Absolute Focus, something of the sort, and then you're probably running like Gathering Storm or probably not, maybe Scorch. I wasn't watching, but I was watching, but I didn't see if you took Scorch or Gathering Storm. But your runes probably look something like this. Over here probably looks something like this. And the main issue is this: if you have this and this, then you're having the mana item too. So you got a whole bunch of mana items, but you don't have any attack speed on Azir, you don't have any damage on Azir, and you have very little sustain on Azir as well. So the main thing we want to do is get all the stats to round out. I would say like Lethal Tempo would be really nice to help you out if you want to build this playstyle. Lethal Tempo is really nice, or just fit in a Berserker's Greaves in there somewhere, also really nice. Alright, so there are two different ways you can build Azir, and then you can have like Liandry's or Ludens, or you can even go Everfrost, but Everfrost is kind of a meme. Mainly Ludens or Liandry's for this first mythic item. And then if you're playing like a poke playstyle, make sure you start with the tier early so that when you get Archangel Staff, you kind of spike earlier. Third item is Hourglass if you need it. If you want to go for more of an MR item, then you can go for like the Banshees versus like a Fizz or something. However, if you're versus like an AD Assassin, you can go Hourglass. Or if you're just feeling really strong, you can go straight into either Void Staff or Rabadons, depending on what they're running. These are the two different builds. They're pretty much the same thing. You just swap out the Ludens for the Seraphs, depending on what you want to play. Fourth item is either Hourglass or Cosmic Drive or Rabadons. These 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th, and 6th item is totally optional in which way you want it to go. So the main core items are these three right here, and then you can go Ionian if they don't have MR, or you can go Sork if they have MR, or if you need a little bit of DPS, then you can go Berserker Greaves for DPS. Especially if you're not building the Nashor's Tooth, you can go Berserker Greaves, or if you have like Lethal Tempo runes, that helps a lot too with DPS. Alright, so for Azir's build path, if we're talking about like a poke playstyle, we would go something like Luden's tier start, and then go into Luden's Sork, into Archangels, and then we could either for these 1, 2, 4, 5th, and 6th items, these are optional. You can switch these around however you like. Mainly like Hourglass versus AD Assassins or AD Champions, help you with the stats there a little bit. Otherwise, you can go Banshee's Veil as well. So, or if you feel you're just strong enough or better than the other players, you can always go Void Staff if you press tab and they're building MR. However, if they're not at all and you're getting really fed, you can also just go Rabadon's Death Cap and then just build these other items in whatever order. That's going to be the poke playstyle. And like I said, Arcane Comet is good for the laning phase, but to get the most out of the entire game, you could go Halo Blades or Electrocute for poke playstyle to really just go for that burst, right? We're thinking about poke and burst, right? And so that's the playstyle you want to play. That's what I would do. With your runes and builds right now, you just have like overkill on mana, right? You have a lot of mana from Presence of Mind and Mana Flow. Now you have Seraphines, right? You just have no troubles with mana at all, right? That's the biggest thing that we could fix with your build right now. And then if you want to play a DPS playstyle, it's pretty much the same thing. Ludens or Liandry's, whatever you want, versus like Ludens to burst, Liandry's versus tanks. And then Sork Shoes or Berserkers, depending on what kind of runes you play, Nash's Tooth. And then these items are kind of the same, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Is you can adapt these into like Assassin matchup or into like AP matchup, or if you're just too strong, you can go Rabadon's Death Cap. Or if they don't have any, or if they start building MR, then you can build Void Staff. You can also just throw in the regular Cosmic Drive into your poke playstyle as well. So instead of Archangel, you can run Cosmic Drive instead of Archangel. That's really fun as well, because you don't need them. You don't need the extra mana. However, if you do like this item, I have seen people run it as well and have decent success with it. And so this is a decent item as well. But that's the runes and builds for Azir. And mainly for runes, I would just recommend you go Lethal Temple or Conquer most of the time. If you're going for DPS, if you're going for poke, I would recommend Arcane Comet, Halo Blades, or Electrocute, right? But just understand that when you go Arcane Comet and Halo Blades, you don't get that much use out of it into the mid game, whereas with Electrocute you get more. You burst the assassins like the Twitch a lot quicker, and then it's just easier to win those games because you have so much burst, similar to a Veigar. And with the DPS, then you go Lethal Temple or Conqueror. Halo Blades works fine too if you want to be stronger in the laning phase, but once you get out of the laning phase, Halo Blade just kind of falls off in general. So let's get right into the game here, and the first clip I have for us is around 3:30. So good job trading here. I have no clue why the Sylas came back in, but right here I also have no clue why like you're running away from the Sylas. I understand you're trying to kite him and you're waiting for your abilities to come back up, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 10-ish units here. And you can just ignite him and fight him here. Like if you're scared you can ignite him, I wouldn't ignite him. But you see how strong you are in general, right? You didn't have to waste flash here. And you could have just killed him in this wave because he fought you in the wave. He also had less HP than you when he engaged you, right? So the Sylas was just trolling, right? But like you said, you don't know what to do when players are trolling like that, or like just running into you, right? And let's just look at this Sylas, right? This Sylas is a decent player too, but just mainly plays normals like you, and just plays different champions every game. So probably just looking to limit test that Sylas game, right? Because he plays different champions every game, so he doesn't even really know how to play Sylas. He doesn't really understand the champion. He just thought that if he jumped into you, he wins, right? Because that's probably what happened to him. So number one thing here is like if Sylas wants to fight you in 2 minion waves, then fight him. Don't back away from your wave. Fight inside your wave. And if you're scared, you use E to give you the shield. You also can ignite him as well. Also, Sylas went TP instead of flash, so you just understand right off the bat that you have much more laning pressure than him, and you just fight him. Let's go to the next clip.
How about like kind of what if it's a neutral lane? What kind of state do I want to leave the lane?
Right. So what if it's a neutral lane? What kind of state do you want to leave it in? Like right here. Right after you take this minion, just back, because at this point Sylas already backed, died and backed. He hasn't got any items. You could stay, but you just don't have enough mana to stay. And so right here, this is just a good back in general, right? There's nothing you can do. You come back, and he pushes the lane anyway, so you catch the wave in a good situation, right? So the only thing you lost was three melee minions, not that much.
Other than the obvious.
Now this right here is a very questionable play. Same thing here as he did to you is you're jumping into 2 waves of minions. Right, good poke, but like let's take a look before you jump in, right? You're walking to lane, you're nowhere near level 6, right? You're pretty close, but you have to clear at least like 4 or 5 of them, maybe even 6 of them to level up. Right? And I think I see what you're trying to do here is you're trying to Azir insight him back into there, but you just don't hit 6, right? So it's just kind of troll, where you can see your XP bar, you know when you turn 6, but you just go in before that. Let's go into 8:30 here, which is the next clip. All right, so you don't know what to do when your laner roams, right? Let's take a look.
If Sylas ever hits anything on me, he's gonna.
Right, so as soon as Sylas leaves here, we see Sylas heading down bot side. We should already know. We also see these 2 skirmishing bot side as well. So as soon as you see this happen, the only thing that's occurring on in your mind right now is probably to pick up this wave, right? But what you should be thinking at this point is, okay, Sylas is going bot side. What's going on the map? Or is my bot laners overextended? If my bot laners are overextended, I want to let them know that Sylas is coming. However, we see a dragon fight over here, which we can't attend to because we have to catch this wave, right? So we have to back ping Lee Sin at this point. Back ping Lee Sin like 2-3 times, and then also ping over here 2-3 times. That way he knows that like MI ping 3 times, back ping 3 times. So probably back ping 3 times first, and then MI 3 times. That way, the Lee Sin understands that Sylas is coming his way.
I feel like this kind of
so now they're fighting dragon,
risk,
and then now Sylas is gonna pop up right here.
I suppose
right? Boom, right there. Now Lee Sin's caught, and now you ping now when you see Sylas, but it's too late. right? So champions like Zed, Talon, Katarina, Sylas, these type of roaming champions, you always want to keep an eye on them, and this is really how you start to win these games in this gold elo, because then you can just help your team out so much by just pinging and letting them know that like laner's missing. But like that's the only thing you can do with champions like this, is just ping and let them know, and then also just push, and also make sure you're not missing minions as well, right? Use Q to CS this minion right here. You try to do it, but a little too late. And W to push out this wave, right? You're pushing out the wave, but you're not using your W to push out the wave. And then just missing out on a ton of CS. So number one thing is, when your laner roams, don't miss out on CS and push the lane. This does two things. It gets you gold, it also denies them EXP and gold as well. And then you also go for turret plating and you go ham. Right, the reason why you go ham is so you can pull Sylas back to mid lane so that you can abuse him under turret more. You can also pull the jungler here as well, and maybe the top side. Right, and all this does is make the game easier for your team.
It's kind of difficult to know what to do when my laner roams. You know, I ping obviously, but it just feels like me following on the roam isn't going to help. See, like, I don't really feel like I played that well. I just feel like he just decided to take a trade for no reason.
This is why you want to play ranked, so you can improve, right? If you're playing normals against people like this that don't really understand their champion, then you don't really know how to improve or what to play better, right? But the main thing that you can do to improve here is understand Sylas kit. When he E's through here, the next thing he's going to do is E onto you, right? So you just need a juke, or WE, or E over here, or, you know, just dash the Q in a way that you don't get hit. Right, as soon as he throws a chain here, we can WE in any direction we want, right? We can juke, walk back and juke if we wanted to dodge E chain, right? And then we win this trade because of that. But also another thing I want to point out to you, the reason why you win this trade too is like, you have the Lost Chapter, so you just have more stats than him, right? You have 73 AP, he has 58 AP. And then you also, this guy doesn't play Sylas. I want to point that out. This guy has a Lee Sin ultimate. Sylas' main ability is his Q. That does the most damage to you. Watch what happens. Sylas presses Q onto you, and the second part of Q is what hurts the most. And he kicks you away before his Q even procs onto you. Right, so one is, this Sylas doesn't know how to play Sylas. And so that's just why we win the lane, and he just instant to us. So that's understandable, right? But that's why I point out that we need to play ranked games, so we can play with like people that play Sylas, and that actually makes the game harder for you. And then you actually have to like learn to dodge these stuns, the Sylas E, and learn how to outplay these players this way. So that's why you want to play ranked, is so that you can play against better Sylas. That way you have to actually dodge the stuns, you actually have to be more skilled in these team fights, right? And another thing you have to notice here as well is like, you didn't play that well, like you feel like you didn't play that well, but you know what you did do right is you did stay in lane, you did get your gold, you do have more items than him, you did harass him out early, you did get an early kill on him. And so it's like these little things that you do early, each little victory turns into a big victory, right? Because you beat him once already, when he tries to fight at you again, you beat him again. Yeah, sure, he has 2 kills, but he hasn't spent his gold yet. So he's still very weak, but in his opinion, he does, in his mind, he doesn't know that he's still weak. So he's still really weak. So you won that fight because you won the fights before, right? So little victories add into big victories. You get more gold, more item, and you can snowball and you can push your lead that way. Let's just say if you were versus a Zed, right? If a Zed's W was on cooldown, you're not scared of him, you want to harass him. If a Fizz presses E, his E is on cooldown, you're not afraid of him, you want to harass him. These are the kind of things that you want to look out for. If you're versus an Ari, she presses Q, then you're not afraid of her anymore. You want to start trading with her and just harassing her as much as you can while her Q is still on cooldown. Let's go back to the next clip around 10:30. So same thing here is we should be panning our camera here, and boom, as soon as Sylas left, we didn't exactly see him go top side, but we just take a look, right, and see what's going on. Like, is my top side, are they fighting top side? Okay, if they are fighting top side, then I need to let them know. Are they overextended? Yes, if they're overextended, I need to let them know my laner's headed that way. You could also let bot lane know too, in case if you think he's going bot side, but we have a vision on bot side, so we know for sure he's not going bot side. right? Unless if he had to go bot side, he would have to map around this corner right here like this, but he doesn't, right? And even if he does that, he would have to E over the wall here, which he most likely wouldn't. He would just walk straight down because that would be the better pathing for him, right? But now we see Sylas missing. As soon as Sylas is missing here, I think the only thing you're
Well,
thinking about here is catching this farm,
I see us perfectly.
and then you know that Sylas is missing too, but you don't ping it, right?
Both know what's gonna happen.
So we know very well in advance that Sylas is missing, but we don't let our team know. And like when people do let their team know too, they just ping their own laner and then they just ping their own lane and nobody knows, right? You have to ping this, then you have to ping this. You have to let them know, right? Because we saw this. This is warded. We know Sylas didn't go down here, and if Sylas went down here, he had to have taken an extremely like long path in the back way here, this way, and then even then he would still be warded, right? But most likely we assume he's up here because we don't have vision on him down here. Right, and because we just start pinging it now, right? 9:56, it's 9:57 at this point. We pan our camera and Lee Sin has to flash for this. Right, so when your laner roams, make sure to ping your lane and ping the enemy and ping your ally lane that's gonna get impacted. And that's how you help your team out. Right, because these two were fighting up here and they were overextended. If you would have pinged early, they would have backed out earlier, and then Lee Sin was just still lollygagging because I think he was still looking to make a play, right? But he didn't see that the Sylas was missing, and that's the issue.
So that's gonna keep running this match. I'm just gonna hyper shift the lane in an attempt to make him lose into the CS.
And this is a good thought process, is to push and deny CS. Really good thought process. Alright, so with this next clip right here, I want you to notice something. Sylas has been roaming all game. What level is he? You're almost level 10. You're halfway to level 10. And this Sylas is still level 8.
Oh my god, what is my...
So we push him in, we see the jungler, we see the top laner. We're just gonna assume automatically that bot lane's gonna be here. Right, and so here we already look, Graves is already in an unfavorable situation. They already got him, so like why run this way, right? Lee Sin's a very sticky player. Lee Sin Qs, can ward hop, can kick flash, insect, you know, there's a lot of tools that Lee Sin has. Rakan also has a lot of CC. Graves is already caught out at this point, so we're roaming at this point for no reason. But what I mainly want to point out is this. Sylas is level 8. That's the main thing, is you want to take advantage of him. Right here, you could be like, when you push like this, it's a really good opportunity to poke under turret. And the reason why it's a good opportunity to poke under turret is because you know where everyone is on the map. You see Cho'Gath in the top lane over here, you see Graves getting caught out in the jungle here, and you assume the enemy bot laners are just gonna gravitate towards this fight. Meanwhile you can just harass Sylas and put him behind, right? The main thing you want to look forward to as a laner is to get ahead and to put your laner behind. The further you can put them behind, the easier the game is going to be for you in the mid game. And that's what Twitch does perfectly this game, is he puts the bot lane so far behind that it just makes it hard for you guys. You look to zone the Sylas off here, but right, you could have gotten plating, you could have chunked Sylas out under turret, but because you left, then it gave Sylas the ability to leave too. And if I was Sylas should have just kept farming instead of leaving. Alright, let's go back. Let's go next to the next moment around 14. Okay, so Sylas just left lane. While we're CSing here, we want to focus on the CS and not missing the CS. We also want to keep our eyes on the camera as well to see where he's going, because by the time Sylas left here, Sylas still has full HP, right? And full mana. So very high chance that he's just gonna roam. The biggest thing right here is we don't know where Sylas is. But is Sylas gonna go top side and gank Renekton? No, because Renekton's not there. Is Sylas gonna go bot side and gank bot side? Yes, because they're overextended, right? And we keep our eye on the map, and we actually spot Sylas here with the wards in a bit. We farm, but we should also keep our eye on the map, and as we keep our eye on the map, Sylas pops out. And notice there's nothing going on top side. Notice bot side's like farming. So at this point, like even before this point, we should already know where Sylas is headed, because 1, Renekton's not top, 2, these guys are fighting really heavy in the bot side, and 3, Sylas has full HP, full mana bar, and so why would he back, right? So immediately we know exactly where he's going. We need to like even 5 seconds before we see Sylas here, we should ping MIA here, and we should ping here. And that's how you counter these people who roam and make them pay for their roams, is by letting your teammate know your teammate plays safer, they don't play too aggro, and then because of that your laners don't die. You also push their minions and you get gold and items, you back, and then you also deny them CS as well. You deny them EXP and gold. And that's how you really start building a lead with these type of champions. However, if he wants to stay in lane, you push him, you poke him under turret, you take turret platings, or if you're too scared to do that, you can always pull the wave as well and zone him off minion XP if he wants to stay in lane. As soon as he roams though, we want to push and ping our laners, so sure our laners are doing something dangerous like that. So you see how these situations can become very easy to avoid. And I think the main thing that happens this game, the main thing that loses us this game, is we play way too passive and we let Sylas roam, and we didn't punish Sylas for roaming at all. And because of that, our bot lane becomes irrelevant into the mid game, and then it's just very hard to win because now it's officially a 3v5. So now we see Twitch is dead. There's 1-2 here, and I think we see Graves down there as well. So we see 1-2-3. So we see 1-2-3 here, and I want to point out a very good so this is what happens in lower elos or lower levels of gameplay, is they just don't look at the map, so they don't have much information and they don't know what to do, right? In situations like these. We know there are 3 players bottom, we know Twitch is dead, that's 4 players. The only person you're scared of is Cho'Gath. So if you're really scared of Cho'Gath, you could just lean towards this side, and if Cho'Gath comes, then you can WEQ across the wall. Right, but we back way too early. This is way too early, right? We could have gotten another wave. And then backed. Right, just take that minion, take that wave, and then keep pressuring this, because like now we see Cho'Gath, right? Now we see Cho'Gath, we see all these Graves is dead, and there's still 2 bots. So 1, 2, 3, 4 players, 5 players. Now if you take this minion, you take this wave, what happens? Nothing, you just take it, right? You're punishing Sylas for roaming, but now we back off. Right, so this statement is correct. You can't really roam until you get good items up, but you could have taken mid turret, and then after that you could have gone top, you could have pushed mid again, gone bot, and helped them out, right? So this is the part where you start to extend your lead, and when you get into these team fights, they're actually kind of huge because of the gold advantage and the item advantage. So this right here is a good roam. You push mid and then you roam top, and because he's overextended, so this is a good. But the only thing you need to do here is ping your Lee Sin and ping Cho'Gath. Because you don't ping Lee Sin goes to farm, and eventually it's essentially a 2 versus 1 here, which is okay. But it could be a 3v1 sooner, and you could have made a better play with your ultimate. I don't think the ult was necessary, especially because Cho'Gath had no way of getting to Renekton, and he had already burned his flash. So I think in a sense there, you kind of saved Cho'Gath, but we're just able to capitalize. He doesn't have any mobility, he can't run away. And the main thing is Cho'Gath just overextended there. And he also flashed for Renekton too, which is very poor choice from him.
You might question this build.
We see Sylas on the bot side already. Cho'Gath is dead. And this is how you really start to play the mid game, is by just looking at the map and seeing what to do.
Like,
so we see 1, 2, 3 bot, and then 4.
I don't need them.
Right, and we just automatically should assume that Twitch is down there. And then now we see 1, 2, 3, 4, and Cho'Gath just came up spawn. So now we know exactly where all 5 players are. We have no reason to help Lee Sin with the Rift Herald. Rift Herald is very easy to do. Very easy to do, very doable with just 1 person. Just let him do it. If he needs help, Renekton can help him out as well. Renekton's up here pressuring topside. All we're doing at this point is we're letting our bot laners die, and we're putting our bot laners further and further behind, which is really bad. See how we could be taking this wave, denying this wave of minions to the enemies, this wave, and also taking this turret, putting turret damage here as well. We could also draw Graves to us, we could also draw Cho'Gath to us, and if that happens, Renekton can go topside. And if Graves pops out instead of taking camps, we could path towards topside and take these camps, and then if Cho'Gath pops up, we can also flank Cho'Gath, right? So plenty of options we can do here, but we have a lot of mana. We're not using as much mana as we could be, and we're not making an impact on the map. We're just backing when, right? Everyone's down here and we're not doing anything. Right, like Misfortune says, 4 bot. But look what happens. This guy backs, or this guy backs, you back, and now Graves picks up this whole like farm right here when we could have essentially denied half of these farm, like half of these minions XP by pushing this and taking turret. Right, and Cho'Gath could have came here to fight you instead, and you could have pulled off. Renekton could have been top side taking turret. Maybe Renekton would have backed, right? But maybe not. Right, but in higher elo, then if that was a higher elo Renekton, then he would definitely keep pushing because he sees that there's 4 bot, you're here, everyone's here, and so you just know that you can pressure because you don't get punished for it. So like at this point, Sylas is roaming and everything's working perfectly for Sylas because it's working, right? He's killing your bot laners over and over, and you're not doing anything about it, and jungler's not doing anything about it, top laner's not doing anything about it, so bot lane just gets punished for. Bot lane just gets fucked this game, basically. Like there's nothing they can do, they just get fucked, right? The only thing they can do is play safe and give up turret. That's the only thing they can do. So right here is where we just press tab and we just notice like in the mid game we always want to do this. For me as a Z player, what I look out for are hourglasses, right? I think like does Sylas have hourglass? Does Nami have hourglass, right? But for Azir, he's extremely squishy, and you could look out for things like this too. Is like Everfrost, or like even even if this Sylas doesn't have Everfrost, like there's no reason for you to be positioned this way versus Sylas, right? There's 1, 2, 3 players here. Even if he didn't have Everfrost, you still get EE'd here, and you still get chained by like Twitch slow, Nami the bubble, Nami E's onto the Sylas. Sylas slows you as well, and then Cho'Gath can knock you up as well. Cho'Gath's kind of far, so they probably won't get the knock up. But even with just Sylas alone, he can like one shot you, right? But notice the lead you have here. You're level 12, 10, 10, 9, 12, right? So you're quite strong at this point, quite strong, but you just get caught out. Right, then Cho'Gath CC chains, Nami bubbles. Right, so the biggest thing here is positioning, right? There's no reason for us to poke the Sylas here. Right, no, zero reason. And then champion kit as well, right? Like, if I walk up to a Zed, I'm gonna get one shot. If I walk up to a Talon, I'm gonna get one shot. If you walk up to a Sylas, you're gonna get one shot. Your team's not here, and there's 4 of them here, and you walk up and try to poke, right? Now you lose your escape. The only thing you can do is WE, but WE isn't even as effective without your Q, right? Even if this guy didn't have Everfrost, Everfrost isn't the issue here, it's our positioning. What we should do is look to clear this wave and play as safe as we can until our team arrives, right? So you could just say, oh yeah, I'm dumb, I'll do better next game, or oh well, whatever, I got caught, right? Or what you could say is, you know, versus champions that want to pick you out, like want to make picks, like assassins like Zed, Sylas, Fizz, Echo, Ari, right? These type of champions are champions that could just R onto you or jump onto you and pick you, make a quick pick like that. Versus these champions, you can have better awareness so that this doesn't happen before, right? So you can predict right off the bat that you'll get caught out by Sylas or Twitch, because Twitch is invisible, so you always want to be around teammates if possible, and you always want to be somewhere safe, right? And you always want to keep in mind where Twitch is, so you know exactly where Twitch is, so you don't get caught out by him. Sylas, you want to always know that you don't want to get in range of Sylas, because he can just, like, if you're here and Sylas is here, he can easily E onto you and then E onto you, right? Because he has so much space. So you want to give him the space. Generally, you don't. Like, if you're level 12, Sylas is level 10, you don't care. You just go in and you can just beat him up, right? But he has his whole team here as well, and they can just CC chain you. If you know to not get caught, just apply the knowledge, right? Let's take a look at that one more time, because I want you to see. In no world are we to, right, try and poke this Sylas. And even if we've poked this Sylas, we shouldn't be standing on the side of the minions, right? We should be behind these minions anyways.
Oh, I got the root. That's so... Oh, sweet Jesus. The root? That's...
Right, so every game, every mid game, when mid game comes every time, you always want to see how you can die, because as Azir, it's very easy for you to get caught out, and so you always need to see how you can die. Right now, you can die to Sylas, you can die to Cho'Gath CC, you can die to Nami CC, you can die to Twitch popping out of nowhere and killing you. So very nice here. You were aware of the Sylas play, and you were aware that someone was in the bush, and you WEQ'd out, which is really nice.
And I should...
But what don't we realize? Nami E's, right? We can even see it too. We can see it before it happens. And of course, you don't think about it, but it is true. Looking at Nami's position here, right? What did Nami just do, right? She didn't cast W, she didn't cast Q, She didn't cast R, so the only ability she casts is E. Right? What did Nami do? E's not on Sylas. Boom! Right there. Twitch with 3 bubbles. So it's just these little things that you have to look out for, and like I want to just state right here right now that of course you can fix these up, and of course these happens every game, but if you can avoid these deaths, you're really going to start to be able to carry your team a lot sooner, like a lot better. And also I want to point out that you're not in trouble because of these deaths. Okay, number 1 is like Twitch is higher rank, he knows how to play his champion. Number 2 is Cho'Gath is also higher rank, he knows how to play his champion. So this game is already really hard before the game starts. And then number 2 is you let Sylas perma roam and you didn't punish Sylas for it, and you didn't maximize the gold that you could have gotten. Number 1 is you're queuing into a normal game, you're queued up against players that are higher ranked than you, that know how to play the game better than you. Number 2 is you didn't punish Sylas, and Sylas got carried for free by just perma roaming. And nothing happened on the map, right? So those are the big points. Now these are just deaths that you could have predicted and foreseen, right? And I just like with Nami casting like that, you just know that automatically that you know automatically how you die, and you just want to avoid these deaths, right? And these do help a lot in the mid game. But the early game is always the most important part of the game. If you mess up the early game, the mid game is going to always be a lot harder. However, you play the early game better, then these mid games are always going to be a lot easier. The next example here is the dragon fight, right? So we already see that these two are spawning right here, and we already see that Twitch is the carry right now, and Twitch is already spawned, right? We're still waiting on the dragon. Dragon hasn't even spawned yet. Now dragon finally spawns, and we already know Sylas is in the area waiting for us as well, right? Sylas is going to be able to stall this out. We can't take, like, with the 3 of you guys and Sylas being here and with Rakan ultimate, there's no way you guys can take this dragon fast enough where the enemies won't respond in time. Right now all Sylas has to do is W in, press R, or R, E, R in. I thought it's like, he all has to do is E, E, and R in to the team. Now the Nami is already here, Cho'Gath is here, and then Twitch is here as well. And boom, right there is the game, right? It's game over right there. That is game over right there. It's possible to come back, but like I want to point out another thing too. We just don't have a big enough lead because Twitch just played the early game better than us, right? So we have to work on our early game. We have to play better these games if we want to win games like these. Number 2 is because we don't play ranked, we are not playing with the players the same skill level. Immediately, we know that in these team fights, the only way we win these team fights is if Twitch dies, right? So shouldn't all CC go towards Twitch? Like Rakan, right? Because Rakan's not the same skill level. Rakan uses alt and W on these guys, right? And then Twitch pops up and kills you, right? Like he doesn't kill you, but he almost gets you. Does that make sense? Because you're not playing ranked, you're not playing people with players at the same skill level as you, then Rakan can't possibly know to engage on the correct target, and Misfortune can't possibly know how to fight that fight that fight, right? And then Renekton just keeps getting caught out and dying, right? But the main thing is that you're playing with people on different ranks, and that's what makes it so hard for you to improve, is you're playing with players that are way better than you, like 2 times, 10 times better than you. And so you just have to play ranked, and that's how you'll get versus players that are better than you. Alright, but the main thing is you want us, and when your laner is roaming, you want to CS perfectly so that you don't miss CS. That way when he comes back to lane, you have more items, you can punish him harder as well. He'll also be behind on levels, especially if it doesn't work out, because most likely it won't work out if you ping him earlier. So the biggest thing for you to work on, like if this happens to you a lot, is to ping and let them know, right? Otherwise, you zone and you poke them out and you put them behind in levels, and you get kills and you put them behind in levels, right? But if they keep roaming like this, you need to let your laners know way before he gets there, and that way they can avoid the play. And just do like I did earlier, where like top lane is not even there, so obviously he's bot side. Sometimes bot side is not even there, so you obviously know he's gonna go top side. You need to ping those lanes and look for these roams, right? As soon as you see like a Zed mid, a Sylas mid, a Katarina mid, you automatically think in your head, oh, this champion wants to roam, right? It's like immediately when you see, like if you play a jungle, like immediately if you see a Graves, Lee Sin, Kindred jungle, you immediately think to yourself, oh shit, I'm gonna get my jungler's gonna get invaded, so I want to help him out. I want to be there for the free kill when they invade my jungler, right? That's how you think. Also, it's like you're playing let's just pretend like you're playing versus like a Veigar, right? You automatically know Veigar's a late game champion. He's very weak in the early game, so you want to harass him and you want to put him behind as far as possible so that he doesn't power spike, right? And so that's what you want to do with these kind of champions. Is immediately you see these champions, you know these champions want to roam. You know if these champions roam, your team's going to be in trouble. You want to punish them for it. You want to take turrets. You want to take Rift Heralds. We should have gotten at least 2 Rift Heralds. We should have gotten at least 2 turrets here. We could have pressured topside more. We could have gotten topside inhib. You know, so many things that we could have done this game that we didn't do, and that makes our mid game really hard now because we don't have the resources to battle them, and also because our bot lane is really far behind because we didn't help them out. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out my Azir video.